when you are not sure where you're going to be sleeping that night or if you were going to eat dinner, algebra takes a back seat. My Optimist journey began long before I was a member. My life has been forever changed by the Optimist organization, and it all started when I was in high school. I spent my teenage years in group homes, shelters, and foster homes outside the District of Columbia. There were many nights before I went into the system that I slept outside. I remember a favorite playground at a local elementary school. There was an enclosure underneath the kids' playground bridge. It was dry and it blocked the wind on a cold night, and most importantly, no one could see me. It was private. Once I was in the foster care system, I was at the mercy of that system. It's not really what you see on television. At least that wasn't my experience. I spent more time in group homes than I did in actual foster homes. I was shuffled from group homes in Rockville to Bethesda, back to Rockville, and these places were designed to be temporary. Many had rules about kids staying more than 30 days or 90 days, so I shuffled back and forth depending on how many days I needed to be there. These group homes had anywhere between 6 and 20 kids, boys and girls, mostly surely teenagers. We had chores and schedules and teenage drama, but our basic needs for food and shelter were met. There were behavior systems. One home took my shoes when I first got there. I had to behave and follow the rules for a week to earn the privilege of shoes, and then I was on level 1. At level 5, I had more privileges and freedom, use of a phone for 10 minutes a day, or the rights to walk into town. Sometimes I went to school in the shelter, sometimes not. One had a school in the basement, which pretty much consisted of me doing worksheets. In Rockville, I was able to take the Metro bus to my regular school. I was not a particularly good student, mostly because of priority. When you are not sure where you're going to be sleeping that night or if you were going to eat dinner, algebra takes a back seat. I also admit that there were many times that I took the Metro to DC instead of going to class. Sadly, I was not unique. Like many teens in the foster care system, I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder. It was me against the world, and if I needed something, I had to get it myself because no one else was going to be there to help me, or so I believed. Sometime during my sophomore year in high school, I became aware that many of my friends were taking the SATs. I craved normalcy, but I did not live normal. I didn't really know how to go about signing up to take the test or even how to start, so I went to visit the guidance counselor at my school. She was close to retirement and I suppose had a lot of experience. I trusted that she knew what she was doing. It was her job to help me, right? So I went and I sat in her office and I told her I wanted to take this SAT. I can still hear her voice in my head as she told me, "Oh, honey, the SAT is for kids who are going to college." It's still there, that voice in my head. That's not for you. That's for the normal kids, the ones who will do something with their lives. No, that's not for you. I felt crushed and defeated. This person was supposed to believe in me, wasn't she? Maybe she was just being realistic. Maybe she thought she was letting me down easy and preventing me from further hurt. Was I Don Quixote? Was it really an impossible dream for me to go to college? Or was she just plain wrong? So you remember I said I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder and a stubborn streak? Well, a surefire way to get me to do something is to tell me that I can't. The following year, I went to live with my grandparents in Pennsylvania. It took them over a year to go through the process to become foster parents for me and move me out of state. I'm eternally grateful for them and their care and their sacrifice. With some structure, support, my basic needs met, and quite frankly, nowhere else to go, I actually went to school every day. My grades improved drastically. Imagine that. A guidance counselor there helped me to take the SAT and apply for colleges. I was still a ward of the state, and although I had a part-time job, I didn't have the funds for college, and I wasn't sure that anyone really thought that I was capable. I wasn't sure I was. But my guidance counselor encouraged me to apply for some scholarships. I didn't have the grades to qualify for any merit-based scholarships. All those trips on the Metro train to DC kind of got me there. But I wrote some essays and I filled out some applications. In the spring of 1992, I received a letter that I had won the local Optimist essay contest. It was not a lot of money. However, it meant so much to me. I went to a meeting, was presented with a plaque and a medallion, and I even had my picture in the paper. These folks didn't know me. They didn't know that I had marginal grades. They didn't know that I had spent weeks sleeping in a park or sneaking into friends' basements when it was too cold or wet to sleep outside. However, they saw something in my essay and they believed in me. I had value. I had a future. The Optimist Essay Scholarship was not the only one that I received, but it had the most impact. That scholarship encouraged me and helped me to believe in myself, even if others did not. I went to college at Westchester University of Pennsylvania. When I graduated cum laude, I sent my transcript to that Maryland guidance counselor. I never got a response, but that's okay because my success is my reward. I've considered myself an optimist ever since those scholarship pursuits. So it was only natural that I became an Optimist member when my husband and I sought to give back to our community. A few years gone by, and I'm just finishing up my year as the governor of the South Carolina Optimist District. I often think about those other kids in the group homes and shelters that I saw over the years. Do they have an Optimist club to encourage and support them? Can I have that same impact on the lives of other children? It motivates me not only to bring out the best in children, but to also lend my talents to strengthen this organization so that we can reach even more children. You are all here because you are optimists who believe in the power of the foundations. Whether it's a small scholarship or a large one, you have an impact. Your efforts inspire and have a lasting impression on the recipients. The foundations make these scholarships possible and empower the clubs to help the children in their communities. The foundations made it possible for me to be here with you today. As optimists, you believed in me. You helped me see that my future was not defined by my circumstances. You helped me turn that stubbornness to my benefit. So thank you. Thank you all for your contributions and the lasting impact you've had on me and the lives of children. Thank you.